Request for information process in construction. A request for information is a formal process used to get information from vendors or suppliers to make a short list of potential suppliers. Basically, RFI is a typical process that is used to narrow down a list of candidates. One of the main purposes of the RFI process is to gather information and compare companies that are offering goods or services that you need to complete the project deliverables. However, RFIs can take different forms in the construction industry. As the complexity of a construction project increases, RFIs become complicated and confusing. What is a request for information in construction? The requests for information procedure is widely used in construction projects when it is required to confirm the interpretation of detail, specification, or note on the construction drawings. It is also used to secure a clarification from the client that is required to continue the work. It can have different formats depending on who the requests for information is for. For example, a request for information between a contractor and a subcontractor who will perform construction activities will be different than one between a contractor and a vendor. In any case, the requests for information is a standard communication tool created to gather information about the capabilities of contractors, suppliers, vendors, and subcontractors. How to improve your request for RFI process? A request for information requests for information is a preliminary process in defining and performing construction work. Larger projects often require more RFIs to conduct the works. Below are 10 tips for managing the requests for information process in construction projects. 1. Create a requests for information template and configure the fields in order to categorize and limit the inputs. This helps to collect information in a formal and structured manner, which helps to make comparisons easily and quickly. 2. Be specific for the information needed. By this means you can get a useful response. The vendors may not understand if your questions are unclear. 3. If you request information from the suppliers or subcontractors, give them an appropriate time to respond. 4. If the client requests information from you, remind your team members that responses to RFIs must be delivered within the time period specified in the contract. 5. Create a request for information log and continually update the RFI status. 6. If the responses meet your requirements, mark the RFI status as closed out. If not, mark it as outstanding in the log. 7. Direct the team to attach required documents such as designs, specifications, manuals, procedures, etc. to their RFIs. 8. Send the RFIs to the responsible team member or members and make sure that they receive them. 9. Ensure that the recipients gave responses to the RFIs and check if they are adequate or not. 10. Determine the impacts of responses on the project schedule and budget. If there is an impact, log the response as a potential variation and review it with the project team. Benefits of the request for information. The RFI process provides information in a formal, structured, and comparable way. Suppliers become aware of the project and understand that there is competition going on. You show that your organization treats equally to the vendors and subcontractors. The RFI process prevents the occurrence of disputes related to the documents, drawings, and specifications, so that it eliminates the need for costly corrective measures. The RFI process reduces the time and costs involved in evaluating potential suppliers. The RFI process helps to reduce risks on projects. Request for information versus request for proposal versus request for quotation. There are too many terms starting with the letter R. We discussed above what an RFI is. Although RFI, RFP, and RFQ are completely different terms, people use them interchangeably. This is a mistake. Request for proposal. An RFI is usually the predecessor of a request for proposal. The aim of a request for proposal is to request information from vendors about the price of their product or service. Request for quotation. Request for proposal and request for quotation are similar processes. Sometimes RFQs are sent along with RFPs and sometimes RFQs are sent alone. The difference between RFP and RFQ is that RFQs are sent when you know exactly what you need. You don't need details because you are looking for the lowest price and/or a particular service. On the other hand, you send RFIs to evaluate a number of factors besides price before deciding to buy. An efficient requests for information process enables to answer the questions rapidly. Issues and problems can be solved quickly with a well-managed RFI process. On the other hand, delayed and unanswered RFs may damage the relationship between the client and the contractor. Writing efficient and explanatory requests for information helps to save time, reduces costs, and improves quality in construction projects. With the help of software, it is easy to manage your project's requests for informations.